Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days show some breezy conditions over portions of the Great Basin. For today, we'll see those breezy winds over eastern and southern Utah, with some isolated storms in eastern Idaho or eastern Nevada up into western Wyoming. On Wednesday, the breezy winds move into western Nevada along the Sierra Front, with some isolated storms remaining across Idaho, or the central Idaho anyway, and far northeast Utah. And then on Thursday, the breezy winds expand further north and east to include much of northern Nevada and up into southeast Idaho. And then we'll see some isolated storms continue over the central Idaho mountains on Thursday as well. Yesterday was a pretty quiet day for precip and lightning. In fact, the storms that we have indicated here with the lightning over the eastern Nevada mountains occurred this morning. Otherwise, pretty quiet yesterday. Initial attack for the past 24 hours showed we had 9 fires for 123 acres. Most of those acres came from this fire near Boise, and then large fire growth over 7,000 acres on the Forsyth and France Canyon fires. Observed precip for the past 7 days showed we did have some decent precip over the central Idaho mountains with that low pressure system over the weekend. Otherwise, things were very dry over Utah and Nevada, and then the 14 days percent of average really show that dryness over Utah and Nevada. ERCs are shown here on the lower end over Idaho and northwest Nevada, and certainly higher over Utah, where the conditions have been hotter and drier for a little bit of an extended period. Most of those stations there over the 80th and approaching the 90th percentile still, and then a few higher values as well. These values have moderated over the past couple of days, but we'll see them increase again under the hot and dry conditions that are coming up for later this week. Okay, closer look at a few areas here. Southwest Idaho, where we have seen 100-acre fires or so be kind of the norm up there. Those values are right around average for the time of year. The main culprit there is the kind of larger grass loading this year, causing those fires to spread. And then in northwest Utah, the values are also pretty high, or will be increasing with the forecast period up to probably setting records over the next 5 to 7 days there, just right above the historical records, just below the 90th percentile. Taking a look at our live field moisture samples in the sagebrush here near Winnemucca, those values have been right around the historical minimums for the last 4 to 6 weeks or so, and we have seen some large fire activity in that area where the sagebrush has been fully consumed. And then further south near the Forsyth Canyon here, those sagebrush values have also been really low, setting new records during the month of May and just into the first part of June. Smoke impacts continue today and tomorrow from the fires both in southern Utah and further south in northern New Mexico. The satellite imagery for this morning shows that next low in place over Nevada, and we're seeing a little bit of that moisture out ahead of that low, leading to some cloud cover and some isolated storms along that boundary, as well as some increased breezier winds to southern and eastern Utah. So again, looking for that low in place, kind of moving across the southern Great Basin today into tomorrow, and high risk for winds over parts of the higher elevations of southern Utah and into eastern Utah today for those elevated wind speeds. Again, looking at winds 25 to 30, maybe a little bit higher than 30 miles per hour over eastern Utah. More marginal over southern Utah, but we did just want to elevate that risk for those fires in the area. And then isolated storms possible over eastern Nevada and up into western Wyoming today. Tomorrow, the low continues to track across the Great Basin, moving into Utah. We will see some breezy winds starting to move into far western Nevada on Wednesday, with another little trough moving into the Pacific Northwest. No high risk for those winds tomorrow. Again, just slightly elevated, gusts to 25 or so. 25, maybe 30 over western Nevada tomorrow. And then the minimum relative humidities decreasing just right around the upper single digits across much of Nevada and Utah, and decreasing along the Snake River Plain as well. On Thursday, the winds pick up or increase a little bit over a larger area again as the trough still remains in place over the Pacific Northwest. Temperatures are increasing or begin to increase more rapidly on Thursday. We see some browns kind of still or returning to parts of the Great Basin. No high risk on Thursday. Those wind speeds again shown here, not super strong winds, but definitely breezier, into the 25 miles an hour or so. A little bit stronger over the central Idaho mountains, but the threat for large fires isn't quite as high up there. And then for some precipitation and thunderstorms over the central Idaho mountains on Thursday as well. 3-day precip total is not showing too much in the way of precipitation, just a few little blips here and there for some isolated storms today in eastern Nevada and western Wyoming, and then maybe some storms there in the northern central Idaho mountains in that Thursday timeframe. On Friday, could still see some breezy winds as the trough remains in place across the northwest, but warming and drying continues to really move into areas over Utah and Nevada. Beginning on Saturday, we'll start to see the ridge start building into the western U.S. for warming temperatures area-wide, and that ridge will stick around for Sunday as well, and into Monday also. So really warm temperatures coming towards the end of the period. Valley highs are going to be into the upper 90s by the weekend and into the first of next week. 7-day precip totals are shown here. Again, not really looking for much of anything. As we get into the weekend and the first part of next week, there's a chance we could start to see a little bit of moisture coming underneath the ridge for some more thunderstorm activity, but we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Still a little bit far out. But the extended forecast for July 1st through the 7th does put the heat to our north, but still above normal temperatures across much of the Great Basin. But if we look at the precipitation forecast, the monsoon looks like it shifts a little bit further westward over Arizona and could be bringing some precipitation into Utah for an increase in thunderstorm activity. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.